for the warning.
Right. That's the whole key. You know, you can't just go live in a basement with no warning.
The other stuff, A.
How's everyone doing? First show of the night. Welcome to Tuesday. We're gonna get started here on the record. Got our official checker outer. That's a paying position.
Kevin, let me see that so I can check my hair. No, I'm kidding. It's such a far away shot.
Your hair looks great, Carol.
It does.
Thank you. I was wearing my Harper's Heroes hat earlier.
I think I'll go with my.
I just got a haircut today.
Looks good.
Is this good?
Yeah, looks great.
It was looking real bad this afternoon. Gray.
There's something about when I wear headphones, and it doesn't matter if it's for the radio station or not. I'd like to have one. It's like having a foot out of the covers.
Absolutely.
Do you guys do that?
I do.
I'm both feet under the covers.
You're
I'm listening to multiple things all day long. I have a phone and a headphone and running in both ears.
I like to have, just in case somebody yells my name.
Well, yeah, we won't be able to hear that, obviously.
Now I won't.
All right, here we go.
This is my first Nat shift.
Officially.
And there's no rundown, really. We're just going to get ready for the season. Nats, right?
Yeah, we did that. You were at our pre-production meeting.
That was
Yes.
You remember that?
You remember that? It was like, I know I was there. All right, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and mute these guys. All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Start the show without me. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us on Tuesday night. The beginning of a Tuesday night full of shows here at First Amendment Sports on behalf of the basement. I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Kevin Ricca.
And the beginning of our national pastime, our favorite team in our nation's capital. It doesn't get bigger than that on opening day, does it?
It doesn't. Welcome to the season 2 of the Nat Shift. Carol
season 2
Maloney.
My debut. Hello, everybody.
I know. We
Bring
added
on,
a new character.
Welcome, Carol.
Bring on 2019. I am so excited for baseball.
It's your first dose of the Commodores to get us going out of the
Can you
gate.
keep that going the whole show?
We have to be careful because if I have to be careful about triggering the YouTube copyright, algorithms.
Oh, I knew you were going to say algorithm.
I know.
It always
It's a
sounds
He's so smart.
It's a
Doesn't
baseball
make him
show.
sound smart.
Baseball people are numbers
What are the
driven.
sabermetrics that go with
That's
that?
true. The sabermetrics for the algorithms of the Commodores and us getting in trouble is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Shouldn't-
That's bullshit.
We shouldn't be. We get, and it keeps us from being able to distribute what ultimately is a show dedicated to the greatest baseball team in the land.
Can you explain the Commodores for this show? Is there a
Night
purpose?
Shift. The song's called Night Shift, and our show's called.
Nat
It just goes Nat Shift.
I'm a little.
It's
slow
Night
on the
Shift, Nat
uptake.
Shift.
Well, it's kind of just a
It's
great
reach.
song.
It's a reach.
Plus,
When Ken got these microphones, it sure sounded sweet coming through these ears.
Oh,
I
yeah.
promise you that.
you
the
guys
new
can hear
board.
me okay, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. All right, so we've set the table for the show in the last couple weeks. If you watched this last season, you know how a regular week's going to go. We still have yet to have a regular week in our third show in, and
What does that mean? A regular week?
we open the show. We do the week that was. We don't go blow by blow, game by game. But if there's some stories going on, who's hot, who's not, we do a little thing called Know Your 40. Because we think that one of the most important things for any baseball team is their 40-man roster.
Yeah.
You should always know who's on it, and it matters. It's telling. It tells you the direction of the franchise. If the bottom of your 40-man roster is full of 36, 37-year-old journeyman long shot guys, you could be in for a long season. We've seen those long seasons plenty. If your 40-man has got some 18, 19, 20-year-olds stashed, at the various levels of minors, your window's wide open.
Remind me. I don't want to get you off track, but remind me to tell you what Davey talked about yesterday, which would not affects the 40-man roster,
Yep.
but definitely about how many innings or how much playing.
That reminds me. Hey, Carol, can you tell us a little bit about what Davey said yesterday?
Okay, you want to
about,
write that? I thought you were going to finish with the
Let
regular show.
me scratch that reminder out
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
You got it. Yep, we're all
Reminder
over it.
reminded.
Whew, look at
I
us
thought there
handling
was-
business.
I thought there was more to go with the regular show rundown,
Give
so I
us-
didn't want to interrupt.
No,
We're down here
please.
talking ball.
Okay.
Let's have
Yeah.
at it.
Tom Verducci did a really amazing article about kind of the way that the system has changed with the gig economy. And we're all like freelancers and Uber drivers and all these people that we all know what it's like to, to work just like day rate type stuff.
Yeah.
And it related it to what's going on in the majors now, and it kind of how the free agency period was. It was definitely not a seller's market. It was a buyer's market for free agency, right? So all these guys weren't getting as much money until
Still
Mike Trout.
is, yeah.
So they're talking about the gig economy. Dodgers win the pennant, 2 straight NL pennants, without one player with 140 innings in a single position. They talk about how many, you can't just have 8 everyday players, right? How you need that 40-man roster because you're constantly going to be mixing and matching. While this is all going on, and this is kind of the new reality in baseball, Davey yesterday talked about how he was really going to keep his lineup straight. Like he figured out his lineup, and he's going to put Adam Eaton as leadoff hitter, which I think isn't, obviously, it's kind of from the duh file, right?
Sure.
Why wouldn't you want somebody who eats pitches right off the bat?
I love Adam Eaton at leadoff, and
Me too.
And I have no problem with it at all. But
Trey would have more chances to steal bases.
that's
if
the
he
only
was
thing.
yeah.
Trey can run, but I also I like the idea of Trey at 9. If you're gonna go with
they
that
have
philosophy, I'm putting Trey at 2. It's either Trey Eaton or Eaton Trey. I mean that's it.
After Trey's year last year, he's batting second.
I'm just
Because
saying.
you got the double leadoff after the first go round with Robles and Eaton and Spanky coming in.
That's right.
But
Trey
when
can bang some runs.
Davey talks about his lineup being set, for me that was like, it's the jinx. We're gonna have so many injuries. Like I just hesitate.
You don't injury jinx down here, Carol
I'm so
Maloney.
sorry. When I heard that, I was like, oh, I don't like to hear. It's kind of like
Yeah.
everybody, please just go ahead and knock on some wood or something. So,
Well, we need it in the
love-
city, but it's time we get it. But our organizational depth with Mike Rizzo doing what he does as good as anyone that does it, our
Yeah.
40 is nasty.
Yeah.
40's nasty.
Agreed.
And there's immediately players that aren't making the team who are sticking close. Your Eric Fetties, maybe a Kibu, maybe a Noel,
And did
maybe
you hear
a.
they're going to? Oh, this is so random and not really for everyday listeners, but
What about just
they're,
Tuesday
you know,
listeners?
Tuesday sounds
Triple A
good.
is going to California, so they're gonna keep
Rochester. I'm sorry.
Syracuse.
Syracuse
moved-
goes
yeah.
out to
Fresno,
Fresno.
baby.
So
Fresno.
they're going to keep these
Yeah.
guys Double A so that they're closer.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So anyway,
Yeah, so the guys
Makes
you want to
sense.
get there's
the
still
guys that
some
you know
guys
are
out
going
there.
to need in this pinch are going to be close.
Although in the world is so small, everyone's a plane ride away. If you're planning, obviously in an injury, you want a guy to be closer.
Fresno's tough. In this small world, Fresno's one of those little
Is it
tucked away places.
there a direct?
Apparently, what I read
Is there a
last
direct?
year, there is not a direct.
Yeah.
There's some issues with that. Yeah. Fresno is a little bit of a pain in the ass,
Yeah.
from what I understand, from last year when we made the
Well, if
announcement.
you want me to, I can go ahead and figure that out for us. I'll just
Okay.
go ahead.
That'd
I'll
be
go to
fantastic.
Fresno as a work trip. Just comp me for the time. Expense.
That sounds like we could find a basement to podcast out of in Fresno.
I
You
know.
know,
I was
for,
gonna
for a night
say.
or two.
We should
And-
go check out that 40-man roster.
And we have to talk to their media guy. The coolest thing about the Nats organization, and we didn't get a chance to really flesh it out last season, but the previous 2 years, we did a wraparound of all the media guys. Because like the head media guy for a minor league team, guess what? He also is the play-by-play and color guy. And
He's an athletic baseball director.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's cool to talk to those guys at each of the levels of the Nats organization. They're the ones who are the first to tell you all about the Coda Glovers, the Andrew Stevensons, the Brian Goodwins. Fetty's close, Keyboom's close to home. That is, you're still keeping your eyes on Joe Ross. You're still keeping your eyes on Rowdy Reed, and to get some touches. But the Washington Nationals, from a 40-man standpoint, his roster is set.
Well,
but
yeah.
we have.
The 25-man roster is
Yeah.
due tomorrow. So
It's
and
good.
Look, you know what the surprise of that is, and we have so many stars to talk about and expectations. I know that
Who's the first guy out?
Noel.
Yeah,
Jake
Noel.
Noel. I mean,
Hold on. He's
he
going
was
to be in for a second.
for a second until Howie comes
Right.
back, which is maybe a week. Howie
Sure.
Kendrick has that hamstring strain, so
He's
might
not
be
even
out.
technically
I
on
heard
the
he's
40-man
close.
roster yet.
He's not on
Right.
the 40.
But he's in town.
How amazing is it that this non-roster
cool.
invitee who had a 71 number and I barely paid attention to when I was down at
Played his
spring
butt
training,
off.
Played his butt off.
Hit 320, slug 520. Let me ask you this. You saw him up close. Does he look like Captain
I
Zimmerman?
honestly
Everyone
didn't
says.
Look, I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't looking that hard at him.
said he's a
then.
doppelganger.
Back then I was thinking, oh, he's a minor league guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we did it. I don't watch. There's so much going on. and you are sitting there just soaking up the sun as well. As so much going on. His
absolutely.
base hit is baseball. So, but he was on a different field most of the time.
Right.
So I was, you don't pay attention to him. That's why when he was such a surprise when games started, they started paying attention to him after I left.
Well, all Ken asked us to do was know our 40.
Right.
And
You're 40.
he wasn't on it. So, you know what, Carol? You're doing your job correctly.
All right, so
let's talk about the Stars, right?
let's talk about opening day, which is in 2 days.
2 days from now.
Thursday.
Less than 2 days, day and a half.
Yeah, the Mets.
Yeah.
Opening day.
1 o'clock.
We
first
know
pitch.
Max is on the mound, which is
The best matchup maybe of the year on day one.
Yeah.
Max DeGrom.
Yeah, man.
The matchup is great, but I'm focusing on the red. I'm not worried about the Mets. DeGrom's great, and he can certainly do what he does. But Max is on the mound. We established that Eaton is going to lead off ahead of Trey. Are you going Rendon Soto or Soto Rendon?
It's Rendon is a 3-hitter.
I agree.
This is his team. He's my guy.
And Soto at 4, right?
Without a doubt.
Okay, just making sure.
I think that's pretty gruesome. I mean, that's
Soto's the most amazing story to me in all of baseball. Just the fact that he was 19 last year and he comes up because Howie has Achilles rupture and Robles has a hyperextended elbow. And he comes up and just was spot filling. He started the year in single A ball.
Yeah.
And this was his first. And then to do what he did in second.
Moises Sierra was ahead of him, and Moises Sierra was hurt.
Second, what did he have? 22 home runs. I don't have his numbers.
22.
A second in Rookie of the Year voting to come 19.
He
I
got
think
robbed.
it had been it literally had been almost 100 years since someone had done what he did as a teenager, as a 19-year-old, and then to come into this year with all the expectations, and he's still, the pressure, and just from what I've seen from when I was there at spring training and watching the games from here and here, he still has that. I'm having so much fun.
Yeah.
he's built
Look
for
to
this,
him.
isn't he?
Yes. And his defense is better.
It's got to be better because his I'm a kid, super happy thing was hurting him on the field. He was seen in the outfield tossing his glove into the air and to
Trying
catch
to stop a home run.
in the
That's
middle,
what I used to do.
just while the guy's on the mound,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
completely hey, he's about to pitch the ball. I mean, just tossing his glove up in the air.
Is it adult deficit disorder when you're only 19? Because he's a kid out there having
He's
fun.
such a
But
kid. He has a huge scar on his forehead,
Mm-hmm.
and I hadn't heard what it was about. And I was asking him, and he does all his interviews in English now, and he's got the big smile on his face. He has a translator, but he didn't use him with my interviews. But so we were talking about the scar, and he said and this was only a few years ago. He was standing behind a door waiting to surprise his mother, but then his mother freaked out, and the door came back and hit him right. But the way he tells the story, and I'm thinking, that was 4 years ago. You were that young 4 years ago, surprising your mother out of the door.
15 years old. And that reminds me, let me check that off also. Carol, why don't you describe what your role is over at Masson right now, what you're doing, why you were down there before we get too far ahead of ourselves. People are wondering what interviews you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And, those that know. But
I am a utility player for Masson, the network that covers the Washington Nationals. I'm really lucky. It's a part-time gig. And when they call me, I just say, I'll take it. And feature reporter, and I'm filling in as the host when Kolko's off, Dan Kolko, who does the Nats pre and post for Johnny Holiday, and dugout reporter when Alex takes some time off. Alex Chappell, who's new as the new Dan Kolko in the dugout. So I'm gonna have kind of an all-over role, and I'm so excited. So I'm working on the team full time, but I'm just it's only a part-time work actual job.
Got to get goggles for when they clinch.
Oh, I have them. I was there. I was there
sure.
in 2012 when they first made it. They won. They clinched their spot in the playoffs the first time in 33 years for Washington D.C. They did it with a loss. But I did the whole 6 o'clock news live shot with my poncho and my goggles, and we definitely needed them that night.
Yep.
So that was the Strasburg shutdown year. We don't even need to talk about that.
Don't even need to talk about
sorry.
it. Strasburg's back. He's healthy.
maybe that's why he's back and healthy.
Thank you very much. Just proving
He's
my
not
point.
only back and healthy, guys, but he is jacked.
Yeah.
Have you seen him? I have on my Twitter page, I tweeted some video I took of him working out by himself on this utility field in Nats Park. It looks, but I've never seen, I don't see him with his shirt off that often, but it's the gun show.
Yeah.
And there's an anchor man line that's coming to my head about pressing ladies with the guns with it.
The gun show.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
He's good.
So you feel very comfortable in the basement. It's just like West Palm Beach, right?
Yeah,
about
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yes. All right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly,
Very
exactly.
cool.
Yes.
Very cool. Way to go, man. Nice
But
job. out
after
there.
3 hours of baseball practice, he went right. I mean, he was the last person. I mean, he works out like a fiend.
Yeah.
And
That's
he had
good.
that.
That's good.
He's a good one to it that we
Unfortunately,
extended.
it can backfire. It doesn't.
Well-
He looks like his velocity's back. When he came back last year, it was down.
Yeah.
And he said it was going to take him all off season. So I think that was his motivation.
Yeah. And when you got a guy like Max Scherzer, who's an ultimate workout maniac, that sets the tone. I love hearing that because we need him healthy. If
Yeah.
we're going to get to where we need to be, it's going to have to be with Steven Strasburg healthy.
And it's funny because you talk about Scherzer, who's we go through the stats and what's expected this year. I have Scherzer in almost every pitching category as leading this team. But Scherzer talks about the new guy, Anibal Sanchez, being like he's the one that sets the standard on how to do things. He's so smart
He's a pro.
baseball-wise. And you saw that in some of his spring training outings.
And he's got a personal catcher, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, Suzuki caught him with the Braves.
Yep.
And so they thought that would be a matchup, but Davey said that he's going to put Yan Gomes in there too. Like Jan's a better against lefties, so I think they're going to mix that up. I don't think it's always going to be Kurt Suzuki with Anibal.
Yan Gomes, by the way, 6'2", 215 or so. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
I think Kirk Suzuki is they got the weight, but he's about 3 inches smaller. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11" than Yan Gomes. But
he was there in 2012. Suzuki was.
Absolutely, he was. Yeah, he
so
came
he's
on
coming
late.
back.
Fan favorite. Too.
He's a pro.
Yeah.
Timely hitting. He's a pro.
Since we mentioned Strasburg's name, he is about to enter his age 30 season. He is on the books, ladies and gentlemen, for another 5 years. Into his age 34 season in 2023, He will be an unrestricted free agent after that. There's a balloon year. In his age 34 year, his contract's $45 million. It's a balloon contract year. They will figure that out. They will stretch that around. I mean, it's essentially guaranteed money. Keep in mind, Max Scherzer is in his age 34 year right now. I don't think anyone's complaining too hard about who he is and what pitchers can do, elite pitchers can do at that level. I think Strasburg, even at his current pace, when he's been dinged up and missed time, he's still a guy who can eat up innings.
Yeah.
And get strikeouts. I mean, I think that could be the pro that he is, for us going forward.
That whole season depends on health of some key players, and Strasburg's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he missed all of July. He missed all of June, July, and August, minus a week in June and a week in August. And they can't have that. They can't have that with their number two.
His absence in June was when our season went down the crapper.
That's right.
That's what happened.
Right.
That's when we needed Gio and Roark to step up.
Right.
Now there's no more Gio and Roark, and there is a
and
Corbin Sanchez.
Don't you love? And this thing, people are starting to pay attention to the Nats right now.
Yeah.
And the rest of us have been kind of watching this unfold as the whole offseason. This is when it's really important. Don't you love how aggressive they were in the offseason?
It was amazing.
If you add if you add their extensions in and if people's options are picked up, it was like they added $240 million to their salary.
The one thing they needed more than anything else was at least one, and we begged for 2 starting pitchers. That's what at the end of our show. When the offseason hit, that's what our wish list was. Our number one priority was
You said 2 starting pitchers?
2 starting pitchers.
That's what Rizzo does. We've watched him do it.
Yeah.
It's
an arms race for him. Right.
Not Bryce Harper. 2 starting pitchers above Bryce Harper. That was our thing. We would have been happy to have Bryce Harper back, but 2 starting pitchers. The fact that we got Corbin, who is a 1 on a whole lot of teams in the majors. I think.
Filthiest slider in baseball.
He's a 1 on teams,
246 strikeouts last year, and his win totals weren't that great because Arizona
Now, can he
wasn't
keep
exactly...
up another slider dominant season? That's the question.
Yeah, it's always... Well, health is going to be the base of all of these conversations, but watching him come out there on a third day is a hell of a lot better than watching Gio Gonzalez come out on the third day.
Have you seen him in person?
God
He
bless
looks like
Gio.
he's 10.
He does. He looks like a child.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just me being old and looking, or because he certainly in the facial thing looks like crazy.
He does. He's really nice.
Well, we got him for 7, right?
We got him for 7, but the thing about
prime 7,
slider dominant year. So there's been times when the Nats offense has gone silent, and they have been difficult to work with for pitching staff. But this offense is good enough to create production, a lot of production, and if you are able to produce runs from Eaton, Trey, Soto, and Rendon in the first 2 innings.
Don't forget about Dozier sitting right there.
Understood, but I'm just saying if you get those 1 or 2 or 3 runs, it allows a starting pitcher to pound the strike zone with fastballs. If you get leads early, which is what the Nats weren't able to do a whole lot last year, especially when they got shut out 5 times last May. The offense was nowhere to be found, and then pitchers are having to pitch to win. And I think if you have an offense that plays up to potential, like the Nats offense is, your starting pitcher doesn't have to rely on his craftiness. He can rely on his accuracy, pound the strike zone, and let his offense win him some games, or at least stretch out his innings. To me, if Patrick Corbin has to win 15 2-1 games, that's going to be problematic for Zumbo.
Winning those close games, that was one of the problems.
Yeah, and getting shut out, obviously.
Getting shut out.
Well, obviously Corbin and Sanchez are the 2 and 3, and they would have been the 2-3 ERAs with the seasons they had last year on this year's staff, obviously behind Max Scherzer. But that's a huge upgrade from 4.57 and over 4 with Gio. That's a huge upgrade.
So you guys are super excited about the season, and I thought here this Bryce Harper hangover, especially with him coming in the second series. But
it really is.
I'm going to tell you something that I have not said. I know we're on a podcast, so this is public, and I haven't said this publicly, and I'm sure this is going to be.
We are live.
Yeah, we're live. I'm going to tell you public. It's not that big a deal.
Okay.
But I don't think this is not like, it wasn't like breaking news or anything, but
it was
before Bryce Harper was settled with Philly, and it was before the news came out. I did not tweet it or anything because I wasn't 100% sure. But when I was talking to Mark Lerner at camp, it was like the second day I was there. So this is like mid-February. And I asked, I thought it was a really good look for the Nets. They made him a very competitive offer, and it was obviously something he wasn't getting from anywhere else. And we were talking about whether or not it had like kind of a Harper hangover by it. And this is when I knew he wasn't going to go after him anymore. He said that at Winterfest, which is the most diehard Nats fans out there, right? At Winterfest, here it is in December, so it's a couple of months after the season, and it was a while since he made that offer, and it became public. And he said not one person came up to him at Winterfest and tried to talk him into keeping Harper. Not one. Yeah. And that's when he knew he made the right choice. I mean, he could be a generational type player, a once in a lifetime. We had our Harper, and I wish him well, except for the 80 or so at bats.
I don't wish him well in Philadelphia. I would have wished him well anywhere.
I wish him well.
I officially
except
don't.
For the 80 or
After
so
he
at
chased
bats.
the money, my well wishes.
Except for the 19 meetings, the head-to-head meetings,
sure.
the 19 meetings, 80, whatever, how many at bats. I don't wish him well.
I don't wish him poorly. But I don't wish him well.
I would still wear my Harper jersey or my Harper's Heroes hat.
You can wear your Harper's Heroes hat. I would not wear that jersey. I wouldn't do it.
You think I'm gonna get egged?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna wear that to the game. I'm
next
working.
time you
come
next time you come walking around that corner into the backyard with a Harper jersey on.
Why were you mad at him?
You can wear your Harper's Heroes. No, not mad.
All he did was going out. He wanted a better deal. I left Channel 4. I wanted a better deal.
Yeah, your deal was different. He
Why
just
is
locked
mine different?
because he locked himself into Philadelphia Veteran Stadium jail for 13 years to chase the money. Then he got trounced
the last
18
place
days
he wanted
later.
to be, I am sure of it, was Philly.
Yes.
So that's his punishment.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
If Philly called me and offered NBC offered me a deal, I'd go there and I'd hate it, but I'd do it.
And Ken and I and your relationship would change.
Yeah, we'd be like, you know what? Sorry, Carol. Again, don't wish you ill, but I can't wish you well if you're in Philadelphia.
It's
a Philadelphia thing.
That's where we are.
Yeah, it's a Philadelphia thing.
I hate to say Philly started it, but we got into the game late, and when they started busting in early in the time.
It's going to be an invasion on the second.
I know, and I hope they come
down
here.
Scherzer versus Harper on the third. Yep. I should have.
Yes.
Oh my
God. I'll do what I do every time I go to a Washington D.C. game that my team is playing a Philadelphia team, and I encounter a Philadelphia fan, and I say, thank you so much for coming to watch your team get their ass kicked. I hope you have a long drive home to think about it. I don't think the Phillies are all that. I like our chances all day long, and I don't care about that guy.
You could save yourself time by just saying ha ha after the game.
Sure.
No way. Say all that, ha ha.
But
Thanks for coming.
If in full disclosure, I hope Scherzer drills him in the ass with pitch one. That'll set the tone. I'm just telling you, it's part of baseball. It's not because I want. Look, I said in the ass. That ain't gonna hurt nobody. Harper will be fine.
No, and
That's
you know
not gonna cause any damage.
Cole Hamels, because it's a Phillies Nats thing too. Because Cole
I would
Hamels,
like to see him charge them out.
Sure.
Cole beans Bryce.
Harper will catch work from Scherzer.
When Bryce first got into the league,
how pretty his hair is.
Cole Hamels hit him in the side.
That was a
thing.
dig there. The pretty the hair is. Let's go back to that.
Mine's getting gray, Carol. I'm allowed to be mad at a young man with luxurious locks.
I wonder how many times he'll get away with flipping that helmet off while he's running the bases. Though.
Listen, Philly. Listen, I got a lot of friends in Philly. They're gonna eat that. They're gonna eat that up for a week, and then when he goes like 1 for 11, it's over. It's good. They will turn. Now they'll come back.
I saw him in spring training.
It's like a revolving door.
I'm walking him every single time.
I didn't see him lose his helmet once in spring training. To be honest, I didn't see every game though. But
all right, listen.
Okay, sorry, we got off track.
Let's go straight to the stats for our stat predictions segment of our opening day.
This
podcast.
Is always hilarious because this is just give me a dartboard.
All right, so last year,
give me a dartboard.
Trey
I might
Turner
have better odds.
was the #1 hits getter for the Washington Nats.
How many?
180 hits.
180.
He played the full 162.
He was involved in 162 games. He had 180 hits. Question is, who leads the team in hits this season?
I was laughing because I put Robles with 200. I don't even know why. I literally was like,
I like it.
All right.
It's like pitching. It's like March Madness.
It down? Okay,
It's like taking the 13 over the 4 seed.
Yeah.
So
I like
you're
it.
Victor Robles, and you're what? 200?
I said 200. I just literally just wrote something.
Kev?
I'm a Juan Soto 190 guy.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm a Juan Soto guy too. And I actually think he's going to
boring. Pick somebody else.
No, but I'm a Juan Soto guy. The only other person.
Listen, Trey Turner's in the mix.
Yeah.
I mean, his average was not luxurious last year. 180 and 162. He's very capable. Of
all right, I'll give you Juan Soto with 190, and I'll take Trey. You know what? It should be Adam Eaton. If Adam Eaton has a whole season healthy, it's Adam
Hold
Eaton.
on, how about a healthy Rendon for 162?
I know.
Rendon's your offensive leader. He's your juggernaut.
Yes, he is.
You know, Rendon, we haven't even mentioned this. This could be his third straight 900 OPS season.
He is.
That's what he's going after.
I got 185 hits for Trey Turner.
Cannot wait for that.
I think he sees pitches that he.
Is my 200 ridiculous then?
No, that's great.
I mean, that's just like crap. Shoot.
I mean, I'm just saying.
This is a crap shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it fits.
Most home runs last year. We know who it was. It was the ugliest Team Ugly with 34. Got his number. Who's it going to be this year? You can lead us off, Kevin.
I'll lead us off. I'm going to go with Anthony Rendon at 32.
Really?
Yes.
Rendon with the power. I put Soto. I went Soto more power this year.
For how many?
35.
All right. See, I'm a Soto guy. You took me. I lose Soto twice.
Go first.
I mean, look, that just shows
what
type of hitter he
category.
is.
Pitching category is all Scherzer, by the way. You don't even need to come to me.
Hey, we did lose a generational. I get that, but we might have one or two sitting right there in that same position in that outfield.
I can't not say Soto because I do think it's Soto, and I'm going to say Soto, but I'm going to give him 40.
Wow, that would be amazing.
And he's gonna have to get most of them in the second half because I don't think they're gonna pitch. I think he's gonna walk a ton, and I think he'll slap some.
You say he's in cleanup?
Yeah, he's batting cleanup.
I think he's built for it on this roster specifically. But Brian Dozier's sitting right behind him. You do not want to put someone on base and have this guy have the comeback year like we talked about. In his last 5 years, he had more home runs and RBIs than Bryce Harper.
Then Zim.
This is a guy. Then Zim. That's just my guess. I'm not. It could be Zim Dozier. It could. And hey, Zim's nothing to shake a stick at with a healthy bat in his hand.
RBIs, guys.
Anthony Rendon, 103.
All right. Rendon, 103.
I'll say Turner. That's silly, though, if he's batting second.
Well, I mean, he almost had 75 RBIs last year.
Stop second-guessing yourself.
I know. If Robles is ninth, then he's really batting like third.
Yes.
So, could be.
You're
going to go Robles?
I'm going to go Rendon. Is that taking yours again?
No, you can take Rendon. What do you got? How many?
Gosh, I don't know.
Last season, Rendon had 92 RBIs.
I was going to say 106. I have no idea. Why do you guys do this?
I do think that
so we can play it later and laugh at ourselves, yes.
I'm going to go Soto because I have him hitting a lot of home runs, and he's hitting in an RBI spot ahead of behind three really, really good hitters. And I'm gonna get a little silly, and I'm going to say 115. All right, guys. Stolen bases. Now, this is just like a pick your number situation because I think we all know who we want. How many is Trey going to have?
I think he gets to 50, man. I'm going to say 51.
All right. I assume you also think Trey.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You think 50? I put 42.
He had 43 last year, and all I read about is Davey wants him to run more. He wants him to run more.
I know they want the whole team to steal more bases. I think they're going to limit Trey's opportunities, so I'm going to say
62 stolen bases for Trey Turner this year.
62.
Oh yeah.
Man, he's drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, no, but I think he's just gone.
A heavy Kool-Aid drinker. When it works, back up.
I think Trey Turner.
You think pitchers aren't they going to keep him honest this year?
But I think he's going to be on base a lot. I think you're getting with Eaton and Rendon and Soto and potentially Robles. I mean, he's basically in a cocoon. He is in the catbird seat.
Yes, and he doesn't have to get an easy out with Harper at the plate anymore. Yeah. We're not worried about the home run bombs. We're worried about running around the base paths.
That's right.
Extra base hits.
If he has
I love it.
If he has the triple green light that we think that he has.
Well, he couldn't with Harper.
I know.
He could not. You couldn't just say, hey, have at it. No, we want Harper to hit that 2-run or 3-run dong. Yep. And that's going to factor in.
I do. I also I see Adam Eaton being told by Davey, hey, if you think you can get the second, get that double. Because if Trey gets a hit, I want second base open.
Sure.
But let's not overthink things. All right, so we all got Trey. I'm the high guy with 62. And let's see here. We got let's go to pitchers. All right. Actually, you know what? That's not true. Doubles. How many doubles is Rendon going to have?
Going to get? Yes.
Yeah. This is a Rendon category.
22 bags.
I mean,
how many is he going to get? I'll tell you right now. Last year he had 44. Obviously led the team by.
So I'm going to go with. I'm going to give Zim some love with 45.
Right.
Zim.
I think this 45. Is going to be like a.
If he plays 162, 150 even.
If he's healthy, I'm thinking of him 2 years ago.
So Rendon's nickname is Two Bags. He had 44 last year in 136 games.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him 50.
50 doubles. That would be a very, very good season.
Yeah, well, you know what? The way he hits the ball, healthy, I can't.
I can't go away from Rendon. 50 to me seems a lot. We're going to be splitting numbers here, so I'll give you. You know what? Forget it. I'll take Trey. I'll take Trey, and I'll give him. I think he's going to lead the team with 46 doubles.
Okay.
Again, I think the guy's going to be on base a lot, and I think he's fast enough to get the second.
I do too. I think he had a good season last year, but I think even he thinks I'm ready to burst out here.
Yep.
You know, I love his game. And last year, at the end of the season, you looked at his numbers and you're like, wow, that was a great season. He almost made the All-Star game. But I think even he would say, I'm ready to go this year. I'm not going to be hitting around 250 all year long. I'm a 270, 280 type guy.
I said we were going to do triples. I changed my mind. It's tough. Trey Turner it's really between Trey Turner, Robles,
and Defoe.
And Defoe. Yeah, maybe Eaton, but
yeah, no, that's a weird one.
It was Turner last year with 6?
Yeah. No.
Defoe had 7.
Defoe had 7.
Defoe.
But Turner was close second.
How many did Turner have last year? I'm writing
6.
this down.
He had 6.
He had 6.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna.
Honestly,
when they go to you live on the field, we're gonna go. Hey, Carol, tell us about something. Be like, you know what?
I remember from my Nats podcast that Trey Turner had 6 triples.
He gets to third base.
I put baseball's such a numbers game, obviously.
It is. We try to not make it.
Put that in your brain. That you can't remember that all off.
We might say the word algorithm, Carol, but we're not crunching any calculations down here.
Yeah. Look at this hard drive.
Yeah. But we're very analog still. All right. Let's mix up our pitching stat list and start with most strikeouts.
It's so hard to turn a blind eye to the man with 300 strikeouts last
season. I know, but he actually has potentially. So Steven Strasburg is a strikeout pitcher.
Yes.
He hasn't. And when he's been healthy, there's been points when him and Scherzer were tracking for a full season, and Strasburg was ahead of him in strikeouts.
What did Strauss have last year for strikeouts? I'm sorry, I'm doing my
156.
We had 156 in how many less games? And Scherzer had 300. So I'm going to put Scherzer at 310. I don't think Scherzer gets injured.
You think he gets injured?
No, I said I don't think he gets. He's not. I think he plays all the game. I think he's going to start all his games.
Okay. Last year, Strasburg had 156 strikeouts.
And
you said
how many games did he play?
He played in 22 games. Scherzer played in
33. Yes.
Yeah.
122.
So you're looking at somewhere around 234, 233.
Are you going to print this out at the end of these?
No, but Strauss in 122 games with how many strikeouts?
He played in 22 games.
So now you got Patrick Corbin with 246 strikeouts last year.
I'm so sorry. Can we go back to Strasburg? I'm writing this down. Strasburg played in 22 games. How many strikeouts did he have?
156.
156. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I messed that up.
I was saying it wrong. Okay, go ahead.
But Corbin comes in, and he's a strikeout pitcher as well, and he's a nasty lefty. And what did you say, 246?
246. He's going to have to be a nasty lefty with Freddie Freeman, Robinson Cano, and Bryce Harper coming into town 19 times a year, or at least back and forth. But that's why we got him.
Anyone not taking Scherzer for?
No, we got to take Scherzer.
Okay, so everyone's taking Max.
For strikeouts,
For strikeouts. And
310 for me.
You got 310?
292.
All right.
So if you're going to say $1, I'm gonna Bob Barker your ass.
What's the record?
What's the record? Oh, I should know this.
It's going to be by Cy Young. It's going to be like 4,000. It's going to be from like the era
it's Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan, of course.
It's 383. And
that's just disgusting.
It's just out there.
That's.
But the fact that that's even possible.
That's not even. What Scherzer does is so far beyond. He gets double-digit strikeouts every night out. He would have been 83 short.
There was Matt Kilroy had 513 strikeouts in 1886 for the Orioles. But I think we're going to go ahead and start.
That's what I was referencing. Along those lines, yes.
Nolan Ryan had 383 for the Angels in 73.
That's unfreaking believable.
Yeah. So
we're all way too young to know that.
Yeah. I think I'm going to Randy Johnson at 347 in 2000 and
he hit the bird.
And he hit the bird.
I showed my kids that. The anniversary was 2 days ago.
Oh, was it really?
But you're talking about Randy Johnson.
I shouldn't have showed them.
You guys.
Oh, were they so sad?
They were not happy. My daughter was not pleased with the final result.
It's a Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan parade above 300. I think Max Scherzer is 315.
Nice.
I'll go ahead and give you some room.
I feel like when Price is Right, you just went like $1 more.
I thought that was going to happen.
I gave you 5. I gave you the honor of 5 strikeouts.
It's a dream come true to be here, Bob.
Yes. All right. Who's pitching the most innings?
I put Scherzer. Last year he had 220, right?
220.
Okay.
No one's even close. Corbin threw 200 last year.
Yep. Corbin will be in the mix. Again, we're talking about injuries playing a factor. We're not going to predict injuries, so sure. But I'm going to say, if Strasburg or Corbin.
You need to go last. Stop it. I'm going to go.
All right, fine, go ahead.
All right, I get to go second.
Okay,
My ADD's kicked me off first. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say his innings is going to be 225. Everything's just slightly better than last year.
225, okay.
I sat last year. My aunt and uncle got me front row seats to the Orioles, Nats.
Davey pulls them in Camden.
In Camden, though. And here's my point is this. I'm not trying to be a homer here with all of this. I sat there with a bunch of O's fans. In Camden Yards, front row, Scherzer was on the hill. We could hear him grunting from our seats, and there was diehard O's fans sitting right there. They could not get enough. The compliments that were coming, the people that were turning around and asking me questions about him.
Scherzer?
You know, you think you're going into enemy territory, this rivalry. The people that love baseball that sat with us.
They love
my
him.
two little kids walked away with baseballs after our conversations. That they came over and they knew the guy that was sitting there. It was just a perfect night. But to hear someone that you thought was really going to rip this guy apart. The passion for him as a baseball player. He's a baseball person's person.
And an amazing guy off the field.
And
amazing, happy guy off the field.
I love
the
him.
Nats, they do a bobblehead. They're like, we couldn't find a picture of him smiling ever on the field. That's Mad Max for you. He is a different player when he's at work than when he's in the clubhouse
the
or
ultimate
on his
competitor.
days.
I love guys who someone else hops them to the driver's seat.
Yeah.
You should never be judged of the type of person you are. During what you're doing. I think that you're making a mistake. Give someone a second chance, and that's what the Twitter age has dominated and killed.
Yeah.
But all I've heard, Chris Johnson, Carol Maloney, anyone involved that's been with the team in the last 4 years, how long as he's been here, has said the same thing to me. Yeah. And I tell my kids, and I tell my son, and we love him for it. My wife, when he got his second no-hitter 2 summers ago, we doused my son with chocolate syrup.
We
went nuts. Yes.
Yeah. When he's like one.
It was
one
it
hit
just
pitch.
Also had an immaculate inning.
That's our generational. That's our generational pitcher, and I know we didn't own him early, but he made the right choice to come to town. Give me 225 on the books for Mad Max.
I'm going to go with Corbin at 201, and I think not because Max gets hurt or anything, but I also think that at this point of his career, I would love to see if the Nats can afford it. For them to be able to give him a night off here and there.
Good luck telling him that, but I totally agree.
And convince him to come out in the 6th every once in a while when the team's up big.
Well, our bullpen's going to have to step up for that because he's a team guy. But he knew in his gut last year there was no chance that he was coming out or else we were going to lose.
ERA.
But during the regular season, Davey's going to keep him on a shorter leash. They don't go past 6 innings that often.
Who's
That's just the way. That's just the way.
True,
but
he will fight you tooth and nail
he will.
to get to 8 innings.
He will, but I'm just talking about the way that's set up. The pitchers don't last as long as they used to.
Last year, the leader on the team in ERA was Max, 2.53.
2.53.
Correct. I think it's fair to include anyone. I think we can include everybody. I mean, technically, Sean Doolittle had a 1.6 ERA. Technically, because he did. That was his actual ERA. Austin Adams and Mark Reynolds. I mean, Mark Reynolds had a 0.0 ERA, if we want to throw that out there.
So you can't do that. It's because they've got to have at least 150 innings.
But I got no problem if you want to throw me a reliever for the season.
I don't. I want to go with Scherzer again.
Okay, what do you got?
Scherzer. I have him at 250.
2.5.
Pretty solid.
I mean, just for the sake of not saying Mad Max again, because I just professed my love for him. Anibal Sanchez has come into town last year with a 2.83 ERA for the Braves, and he ate us up a few times. He was difficult. He throws a changeup that they're calling a splitter. They can't figure out what it is. It's 7 miles an hour, slower than his fastball, which is not topping out like it used to for him.
Yep.
He's learned how to pitch. Pitch track can't figure out. Some call it a splitter, some call it a change. Whatever it is, it's filthy. And the guy's learned to pitch. And if he's taking this leadership role, he's our number 4 guy.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you, he's going to come out and repeat his 2.83 ERA from last year with the Braves.
And lead the team.
Okay. I'm going to give my ERA award to Doolittle. I'm just going to. I think Doo-Doo. Tom.
You gave yourself a technicality win.
I did. I kind of announced it on the front side. I was going to go Scherzer with a 2.4 or Corbin with like a 2.5.
I noticed that. Yeah.
I think Doo-Doo style goes.
Did you see him give up 5? I mean, I don't want to play devil's advocate.
No.
He had a great spring, except for that one inning where he had 5 runs.
I think he finishes the season with a 1.91.
So if he finishes with 47 saves and 49 attempts, and he gets 5 home runs at once,
all right,
it's baseball.
Most wins. Who gets the wins? Last year, the winningest pitcher was Scherzer with 18.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 20.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's what I was just guessing. The Scherzer with like 21. He had 18 wins.
We all played our music tonight, guys.
He only had 18
He had 18.
wins?
Yeah, by the way, we remember when we missed the playoffs?
Yeah. 82 and 80. I remember it well. Go ahead.
I'm going to give Patrick Corbin 18 wins for the Washington Nationals. I know it's not set up for him to go up against a third guy. That's not how it works, and someone else's floor. Having a guy like that every third night is going to be ridiculous, and we're going to see some teams that don't have a chance to match up with him. And I think he's going to benefit from that. And I think he's filthy.
I'm going to talk crazy and say Strasburg.
Okay.
All right.
Because you know what? I need to put him on a list somewhere. I'm going to say Strasburg with 21.
I love it.
It's time for him to hit that plateau.
Once he decided not to test free agency.
What's his most wins in a season? Anyone? Anyone tell me right now?
Is there a machine for
I'll
that?
look it up. I'll look it up.
Well, I got it right here because I was looking at Patrick Corbin's numbers. Because I have him at 201 innings, and he's pitched 200 innings twice. Yeah,
200 exactly last year.
Yeah. But I'm going to say, I wanted to say Strasburg too, but now I feel like I have to pick somebody different.
Oh, sorry about that.
What did you say, 21?
I said 21. What's his record?
The most wins he's ever had in one season looks to me like 15. He's done it 3 times. He had 3 15-win seasons. He had 1 14-win season.
I'm going Strasburg. I'm saying he's healthy all year, and I'm saying he's Strasburg.
You know when I told you I thought he was going into his 10th season?
We're confirming his last name.
No, he's going to play like Strasburg.
There we go.
You know what I mean? He's going to live up to his Strasburg name.
Kara, I love it.
Or you say Strasburg, but I say Strasburg.
I say Strass. What do you say?
He says Strass.
I say Strass.
I say
Strasburg.
I know lots of fans do that. It bugs me.
Sometimes
I say anything.
Sometimes I say Strasburg.
Sometimes you do, but when you say Strasburg, I notice.
Strass.
I didn't notice that.
I have another friend that
This is, by the way, his 10th year. I think you and I had a thing.
Time to get his name right.
I thought it was 7 or 8.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
I'm going to ask him. I'll ask him this year when he's in a good mood.
I'm going to be the one. I can't believe you guys are giving me Max all by myself.
Go ahead.
I think it's going 23 wins this year.
That'd be great. We'd be happy if you won that.
It's like the Coach of the Year thing. You know, the guy that's there for 30 years and dominates the program. You got to give it to the new guy.
Yeah, you got to give it to the new guy.
I love that we're already 20 minutes over.
We're 20 minutes over. We got we finished. We got our sheet. This will be up.
He's like 25-minute podcast. I was like, I'm over. I knew I had way more to say on the first before opening day. There's way too much.
A day and a half to go. Get it all in. 1:00 p.m. we see
Are you
the
guys
national
going to
season start.
opening day?
Ken's up in the air.
I'm up in the air.
Gotta go. It's gonna be 60 degrees.
Yeah.
1 o'clock start.
Yeah,
Jacob DeGrom against
I know.
Scherzer.
I know.
It's going to be on surround sound at
I'll
the
go
house,
if you
at
have
the
to
Ricka
choose.
house.
If you have to choose, then go. Definitely go. Was it Saturday the 3rd with Scherzer Harper?
Next Wednesday. So we'll
Scherzer Harper is the 2nd. What day is that?
April 3rd.
But what day is it?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That's why we're saving some of that because basically we're coming back here next Tuesday night to set the table for that Wednesday series.
Okay.
And then we'll officially have we'll give you our record of the week. So we got to remember to track that this year. What our podcast record is. Every week we have a winning record. That's a win for the podcast.
The series starts on the Tuesday, though. You guys are going to be talking.
It's April. I thought it was April 3rd.
3rd is the matchup with Scherzer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the second game of the series. It's a 2-game series.
Right. Scherzer.
Anibal on the Tuesday night is going to start it off.
That's right. But
And that's what my notes have. Is that right?
Yeah, I know. Drill him in the ass, Annabelle.
Okay. And then Scherzer, I want
Someone
to
has
see
to.
Scherzer versus Harper just because I want to see.
It was such
that
a
matchup.
tentative agreement to what I just said. Okay.
Okay.
Carol
I
Maloney
don't
has
really
nothing
want
to do
I
with
don't.
the shared
I don't wish
sentiments.
him ill will.
No, it's not. No. I said in the ad, that's not going to hurt him. It's just
It
going to
is
send
though.
him.
You could. What if his location is off?
No. That's why I
if it's lower
specified.
back? What if it's
I
the
specified
side?
the cheek.
I don't
These
can
guys are
I
pros.
just
I
argue
don't
one
agree.
thing? So
Got to set the tone.
wrapping our heads all the way around this Harper
Philly
thing
style.
as we go out is DC sports fans are scarred in ways many fan bases are around the country.
About these
we're not-
stars leaving and just
but
dominating
also
other
about
places.
being
I
the
know.
team that brings in the highest paid player.
Yeah.
We do not want to be the fans of a team who has the league's highest paid player if his name is not Mike Trout. I think, and I think there was a big relief and a big sigh of relief breathed by an entire fan base when he went somewhere else. But now that he's in Philly, he's done. And I will just argue, as a DC sports fan who loves his Caps, we love our Caps, we love our Redskins, we love our Terps. The game demands it, Carol. The people who care about the game of baseball,
Philadelphia deserves it.
the game demands that Bryce Harper get beamed. That's the game demands it. And I'm
Not by his former team, the guys who loved him. I'm not saying it.
no, but it's a love tap. They're not going to hurt him.
They'll continue to love him.
Yes.
You're taking. I don't want mass destruction, chaos, and
No.
anarchy.
Everyone
want a
understands
tone
it's going to
set.
I
happen.
would say I feel bad for him. He's in Philly, you guys. He's in Philly.
I know,
He
but
I feel bad
chose
for him.
to put ink to that paper.
He had no other
Trust me,
options
he
at
knows
all.
it's
he had
coming.
a $300 million option
It was
right here
off
to be
the
the
table
king.
by the time
330.
he realized nobody else was coming calling.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I know. He
I'm
messed
telling
up.
you,
Show
on
a little loyalty.
On
messed
a
up.
very, very small peanut type level, I kind of
messed
get
up.
what he's talking about. I'm not saying I messed up. I had the best year being unemployed, but when you stand up for yourself and you walk away and you think,
oh,
you're
that's
worth more,
fine.
fair.
That's fine.
then I have a little bit of.
But he stood up for
solidarity.
himself and
All right,
got
well,
less.
I'll say this.
He stood up for himself and got less.
Born and raised,
That's what I'm
born
saying.
and raised right here my
Yeah.
entire life. And I have many, many, many friends from Philadelphia. No fans.
Zero fans.
I said it
Zero.
first. But this is how the rivalry, it's set in stone. This is it. We throw a right hook, they throw a left cross. This is what happens. And it's nasty. And then it's what it's been. And
So
when
it's
Cole
It's going
Hamels
to be a new
steps up,
chapter, in our rivalry.
and it's
going to
take this rivalry to a whole new level.
Stop being personal with Harper.
But no,
Oh,
but it is.
no.
But the
Oh,
part
no.
of it that
He was
beyond
personal with
that,
us.
it's beyond the rivalry too. The rivalry is a real thing. But I'm just saying, like the actual situation where a guy like Bryce Harper goes from Washington to Philadelphia, the game of baseball, the gods, the everything that is wholly about the game of baseball demands that the pitcher who's on the mound in the first inning of that game put one right on his left butt cheek or his right butt cheek.
Which is
If
kind
you
of
had a-
understood.
Yeah, and he knows it's coming, and he'll smile. When it happens, he'll smile.
It's like a noogie.
Yeah, he'll laugh.
If you guys had a signed Harper jersey up on the wall behind you, would you keep it there?
No.
Whoa.
No, I have a Bryce Harper T-shirt jersey
Hey.
that will no longer be worn.
We need to set the bar as Nats fans from 2005 moving forward. They came and invaded our stadium and acted like the biggest pieces of it of all time. And from that point forward, I wanted them to eat a piece of it. And then that kid did on the
Okay.
sidewalk after they won the
Yeah.
Super
Sorry,
Bowl.
next
So
question.
now I'm good.
Next
so now I'm
question.
good.
If you
But they
went to a
did.
different team other than Philly,
Would've-
would you keep that?
Yes.
Harper?
Yes, 100%. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If he went
That-
to
that-
the
I think
That's
Giants,
where the line is.
Exactly.
That's where the
I
line
might
is.
even have to find my way to later in life, maybe even have a jersey from the other
I
teams he
agree.
played in.
I agree.
So when you talk about your Harper jersey, you know what? I'm saying our team is great. We have awesome players, Hall of Fame level. We have Hall of Fame quality players
Yeah.
on the team right now. Wear that jersey. Wear a Scherzer jersey.
Scherzer's going to be the first Hall of Famer in Nats
and
history.
let me tell you this.
I cannot wait.
Yes. Bryce Harper knows this.
Yes, he does.
He knows this about us when he left. We don't want him, like I said.
Can I tell you?
But
he
knows.
hasn't really thanked us.
No, I don't care. He's done. I don't care.
I'm like one of those like.
He's kind of a bit of a rebel.
See, now you come out. Now you're going down like I want to thank you.
Sorry. No, thank you. I just think I don't think he's ever. I haven't looked at his tweets lately or his public. I don't think he's publicly ever been like.
He's
said it a million times over the course of the last 2 minutes how much he loved.
It wouldn't matter or count after
he
went
used to
Philly.
go play softball on the lawn.
No, he did fine here, but he never gave that extra thing. He's got a bit of a James Dean, weird loner type
thing. The last 2 years,
though,
we were preparing to lose him to the Yankees. The last 2 years.
I would have loved. Obviously, I would have loved if he went to the Yankees over the Phillies.
Yes, me too.
But if he went to the Yankees and became a Yankee, whatever. But I wouldn't feel the way I feel about him being a Philly.
It was the combo of Chase the Money and Philly that got me.
Yeah.
And what kind of eased the pain was Mike Trout just trouncing that deal in 18 days. If you build it.
Well, I tell you, on a positive note, Strasburg signed his extension in May a few years ago, and I feel like Rendon's about to do the same. I know they're supposed to be far apart, but keeping Anthony Rendon needs to be the priority.
Without a doubt.
And I think
it's the new way of doing business
now.
I'm
just jacked about this season. I'm excited. It's going to be awesome, and thanks for having me.
Hey.
Well, are you coming next Tuesday?
Oh, am I?
Yes.
Am I invited? Am I back to being a regular?
You're one of the tri-co-hosts of the show.
There's a standing offer on Tuesdays.
Okay, great.
You're one of the tri-co-hosts.
Oh, I'm a co-host?
Yes. What I was going to say was we understand you might be busy a few Tuesday afternoons.
Well, when I'm busy, I'll let you know. Okay.
We'll have the game on those nights. We'll be able to. Well, the night next
week. If I'm
week.
not there, then I'm here.
Next week.
That would be fantastic.
During this show, you will be watching.
I make it like 20 minutes longer than you said you wanted it. But
that's
I
fine.
apologize.
That's
it's my fault.
It's opening day. Between now and then, you will see the Washington Nationals host the New York Mets for a set of 3 games prior to a 2-game set with the Phillies, which is where we will rejoin you next week, just ahead of Scherzer Harper Battle Royale Part 1. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, she's Carol Maloney.
Thanks, guys. Is that what we're supposed to say?
You can do whatever you want. It's freestyle time.
It's freestyle? Okay, go ahead. Go him first. Let me think of something.
He's Kevin Ricca.
I'm going to freestyle with a little steamed buns, pupusas, and oysters. Thin out that Ben's chili bowl line for my half smoked with chili and cheese, a little mustard and onions. I appreciate that. That'd be just fine.
I'm going snow cone. She's Carol Maloney.
And anything that goes that far, that fast, I don't have a damn stewardess on it.
There you go.
Is that better?
That is,
am I supposed to think of a funny line? And that's my favorite.
I'll give you some advice. Don't ask Ken if it's better. That's going to allow him to say whatever the hell he wants. And then I got to sit over here and think, wait, I have to be weirder than normal? Well, I have no problem doing that. Especially amongst you guys.
I know.
I love doing this with you guys. I can't wait for this season. Carol, thank you so much for being here. Ken, great basement, brother.
Until next Tuesday night, I am Ken Marangolo, and this was the Audible. No, this was not. This was the Nat Shift. We're going to change that in post. We're about to start the Audible. Oh, absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not.
Nat Shift.
Nat Shift. There you go. It's number 1. It's amazing that doesn't happen more often. Now, be careful. We're still live.
Oh.
We're still live. We're still on
but
camera.
your podcast has ended.
The audio is ended, but the video.
Talk about,
no Spokane stories.
Really? Everything I need to say, I can say on the air.